All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is David McFarland from the Training Insurrection.
This is
And
Lou.
This is Kiana.
Q. All right, so what we're talking about today is we've got a new story from the New York Post. This is not the one that they got censored for, but this is an additional story. And this is one where Tony Bobulinski, the business partner to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, came out and confirmed the email and all the facts behind the email, what it means. It is exactly what people expected. I'm going to start off by reading his statement here. He says, "My name is Tony Bobulinski. The facts set forth below are true and accurate. They are not any form of domestic or foreign disinformation. Any suggestion to the contrary is false and offensive. I am the recipient of the email published 7 days ago by the New York Post, which showed a copy to Hunter Biden, Rob Walker. The email is genuine. This afternoon I received a request from the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs and the Senate Committee on Finance requesting all documents relating to my business affairs with the Biden family as well as various foreign entities and individuals. I have extensive relevant records and communications, and I intend to produce those items to both committees in the immediate future." Now, this is smart because he's not going against Hillary Clinton. He's only going against Joe Biden. That's very smart of him. "I am the grandson of the 37-year Army intelligence officer and the son of a 20-plus-year career naval officer and the brother of a 28-year career flight officer. I myself have served the country for 4 years and left the Navy as Lieutenant Bobulinski. I held a high-level security clearance and was an instructor and then CTO for the Naval Nuclear Power Training Command." Yeah, he's noisy. I don't know if they can hear. They probably can't hear that because he always makes noise in the
There's a
background.
cat meowing.
Yeah.
For you guys won't
Very
hear that.
loud.
We
Very
have
loud.
cats, and you know how like Tim Pool has like spin the.
Yes.
I have an air blower, and I spin the kitties. Yeah, so let's see here. If the media and the big tech companies had done their jobs over the past several weeks, I would be irrelevant in this story. Basically, this is where he gets into the fact that he doesn't want to be famous. He wants to be just some guy, but basically, it goes into the fact. This is super long, but it goes into the fact that basically the Bidens went behind his back to make additional illegal deals with China, and they did in fact make the one illegal deal with China where the big guy was a reference to Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden was holding equity in a firm for Joe Biden. Now, the word for this is a bribe. Right, so Joe Biden is the vice president of the United States, and he is getting directly money handed to him by this company, basically by the Chinese government, while he's the vice president, in order to secure some kind of policy consideration.
Right.
What do you guys think?
So let me just say, I think that my question too is for the whistleblower guy. What's his first name? Bobby?
It is Tony.
Tony. Babaluski.
Tony.
Babaluski. Anyways, so my problem or my question, because although he is leaking, my question is how much, because I don't like to let anybody off the hook for anything. People need to be held accountable for the things that they know and they do. So my question is, did he know exactly? I mean, he's saying that, there's clearly some stuff they did that he wasn't aware of, but what he was aware of,
Right.
was he thinking in his mind like, yo, this is probably not a good look?
Well, so he actually made some moves specifically. It seems like he did not counteract all of the illegal activity, but he specifically made some moves to keep them from using the company as their piggy bank, which he talks about in this email.
So he had
Oh.
half a conscience.
What a
He-
good guy.
He did find that they were trying to do things that were very sketchy, and he, from a financial standpoint, he tried to make it not sketchy, but just the fact that equity is being held in one person's name for another person.
Right.
Now, that may actually be something that happens in business all the time, but
But usually there's a reason for that.
yeah, and I'm sure
Yeah,
there's a reason for it.
that. Yeah,
but in
there's a
this
reason for
particular
that.
case, and there was a reason.
Correct.
Biden was the vice president, and he
Correct.
couldn't be a part of this deal. But they also state explicitly in the email that Biden was not just benefiting from this. He was signing off on these details.
Right.
So he was actually specifically saying yay or nay to various pieces of the business deal. Now, I think this may be a rather mundane kind of thing, because I don't think any of us are going to come out pro bribery. So, I mean, I'm just trying to hear what Lou has to say on it at this point.
Now, the reason that he has that tone is that I tend to always fight for responsible reporting. And I say always
100%.
consider the source. And in this case, clearly, he's upset because they went behind his back. And so he's become a whistleblower.
So the
And so what my question is his motive. What are your motives for blowing, for tooting? And why now when it happened a while back?
Well, the
And-
reason,
and-
and he actually kind of covers this,
Yeah.
is that the story is coming out now, and the information has been made public, and he can no longer remain silent. In other words, he was known to be the recipient of the email. It wasn't some,
That wasn't like a mystery.
yeah. So they knew that he was the person who would receive the email. That's why originally when the Post got this laptop from Rudy Giuliani, or got the information from Rudy Giuliani, they actually investigated in 3 different mechanisms, right? They went at the technical side, they went the historic side, and then they went at the actual personal side. So they went to these people and said, hey, we've got this information that you received an email that said this. Is that accurate? And this guy confirmed that, in fact, this was one of the things that that he had received. So he can't get away from it. It's out there now. It is a major story.
Right.
So he's got to either come out and say, oh, no, that's not true at all, or yes, it is. And he came out and said yes.
So I saw an interview with Biden talking about this very same issue.
Did he get really upset and yell at the interviewer? Because
He-
I've seen.
He was-
he has anger management problems.
He was not pleased.
Yeah.
He was Twitterpated. He was
How dare you ask me a question about the biggest story
How
of the
dare you
year
ask me a question
that
about
happens to be about
anything,
me and my
literally
corruption?
Anything.
Look. Listen, politics is a dirty business, guys.
It is. 100%.
And I hate to.
We
I-
can't accept it, though.
No.
In other words, politics is a dirty business is kind of like, well, you know, murder's gonna murder people.
Yeah.
boys will be boys.
I guess we can't just.
But
I guess we
listen.
can't prosecute him for it.
Politics is a dirty business. The fact is
I think
that
politics
after Watergate, people have to learn to cover their assets a little better, and I think that there is a let me explain something to you. I have a family member who is was semi famous, and this is what they do to you when you're famous. 'Cause I think a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be in the upper echelons of power and prosperity. Let me explain.
Well, we
when you-
definitely don't know what it's like yet. But at the same time, that's not a.
I'm not giving an excuse. I'm
Okay.
simply.
That's
That's
not
not
a
an
very
excuse
good
for
defense.
corruption.
I'm not making a defense.
This is a bribe.
I'm not making a defense. I'm just simply explaining to you what happens.
Okay.
One of my family members was married at the time, and when he was out, people would bring women to his room.
Out of the
And,
closet? Were they trying to turn him back? Okay. So
When
when he was away from home?
When he was away
Okay,
from
okay.
home, people would actually bring women to his room. My point
They
is
were
that
just using his
Can I get that deal?
huh?
Yeah, they were using his digs.
Hey, can I get that deal?
No, that for him. They would bring women to his room for him
Oh.
Right.
to
Right.
to as fringe benefit.
As a gift.
As a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What level of success do you have to reach? That's what I want to know.
It
Before
depends, on
that
the, it
becomes.
depends on the level of friends that are supplying these things.
I'm not telling you. Okay, so listen. It's good to be the king. Okay, so anyway, and it really is once you get to that the echelon of power, and what happens
Yeah, but
is
you can also be king of like a ghetto kingdom and get that.
yeah, but that's true.
levels.
Wow.
You don't want that benefit on the ghetto cable.
Ghetto fabulous. I'm ghetto fabulous. Okay.
true.
Okay. So here's what happens. Once you're in that world, it takes you do one thing, and then you nothing happens, and everyone's
Sure.
doing, and then you do another thing,
Correct.
and another thing, and there's and you start to make excuses, and after a while, you find yourself where you did not plan to be, in a situation
You've
where
compromised.
where you're so compromised, and politicians compromise anyway.
100%.
And so that's why we come up with the term
So you're
politics
are you
is a
saying
dirty
then
business.
that this is the result of incremental steps? He didn't start off taking millions of dollars from China. He started off taking
He just found
you know,
himself in this
finding
No.
$20 on the street.
what
and
I'm
not
saying
reporting
what
it.
I'm saying is that's how the dirt begins.
Okay, let me say this because this is my whole problem. This is actually probably my biggest problem with this whole situation. My biggest problem with this whole situation is we have a candidate running for the highest position you can have in this country.
Yeah.
Okay, who literally has refused to answer questions about virtually everything for several weeks now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cord
And
packing,
he
yeah.
has
Yeah.
he straight up said that he had no idea what his son was doing.
Okay.
Okay? So now that this is all out, Joe Biden is a liar. That's problematic for me because he essentially was not expecting all of this to come out
Right.
because he straight up lied. Oh, I had no idea what my son was doing. I had no clue. I mean, whatever Hunter does what Hunter does. Like, I have no idea. When clearly that is a bold-faced lie. And this is a person, again, this is my problem. He is running for the presidential seat of this country. And he
And this is-
refuses to do press conferences, answer questions. I mean, it's literally this man enters a press conference and he says his final statement and he walks off.
You know what? I think that is a great strategy for him, and I think that.
Why is that a great strategy for him?
Because-
he can't formulate good discussion.
Well, wait.
How is he? Okay, this is my question.
It-
How is it that anybody who's choosing to vote for Joe Biden,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How can we expect this individual
Yeah.
to properly run the most powerful country
Yeah.
on the planet?
Yes.
If that's what we have basically said, oh, it's cool. That's a good strategy for Biden. Okay, how is he through this campaign strategy demonstrating in any way, shape, or form that he has the ability to run this country?
So before this story hit,
this is okay. This is what Dave and I have been talked about, been talking about in our story. I don't. You can go first.
I was gonna say before the story hit, he was up by like 10 points
Correct.
in the polls.
Of course, if you can
Well,
believe the
according to
polls.
the polls, right.
Yeah, I
So-
don't believe the
so
polls.
we're all gonna just throw out the polls. We don't believe the polls. I mean, last time they were off, but just by a little bit, right? Like, I mean, Hillary lost, but if you look at the polls in the individual states, it was just a little, margin of error. Not that big a deal. And then, on the Electoral College, Trump won much bigger than anybody thought, but that can be explained by turnout and enthusiasm. You think that the polls are just wrong
Yes.
this time?
Yes, I do.
Well, let me share with you my usual angst for information that I cannot corroborate myself. I argue. You guys are not here. You don't see a lot of the arguments, but I argue incessantly about show me your evidence. Show me who said what and when they said it, and why they said what they said.
Sure.
And
Give me
so
context.
give me I need context and I need
100%.
proof. And I need motive also. And so I believe that like all, and I hate politics. If you're an honest politician and who's never compromised, you're excluded.
You're going to be staying at a very low local level.
Well, you're going to be a local
You
politician.
got Massey and Rand Paul,
Yes,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Rand Paul is legit.
Yeah, and so if you're an honest politician, stay honest. And I would say that it's difficult.
local.
It's difficult to be in that type of position and to not make compromises. And I would say this: it's a great strategy to not say anything, because if you
How
don't
is that
say,
a good strategy?
I'll explain.
Because if
I
he
disagree.
opens his mouth, He's either going to lie to us,
There you
Foot.
go.
or he's going to say something
So
that's
say
incredibly stupid.
Say nothing, and that's a good
No.
strategy.
That
Not for
hap-
it doesn't help us, but
Oh, strategically, I mean, I think
It's a
you
great
have
strategy.
to separate strategy from the game theoretical point of view of the vice president running for president, Joe Biden's position, from what we as people need.
Okay, no.
right? So if he's
nobody. Wait,
now
wait,
you
hold
could
on.
say
Let me interrupt you
that
there for a
not
second.
giving us what we need.
Let me
is
interrupt
a
you
bad
for a
strategy.
second. No one of them, neither of them, care what we need. So let's not even think about that.
See,
that
I
first
think
de-
that's
that
the
first,
real lie.
That first debate.
That's the real
That
lie.
first debate showed specifically that neither of them care about what we need. They talked not about the issues, they talked about each other.
Each other.
And so
I
if they
actually
care,
don't disagree with you, even though I actually disagree with you overall on that point.
I know you do.
I don't disagree
I know
with
you
you
do.
about the debate,
I
though.
know,
I don't.
But my point is that, and that's what I'm saying. They don't care.
I concur.
About what? Listen, they don't care about what we need. They care about power, and they
don't-
care about control.
But
I don't think so. Trump was a billionaire. He was running businesses. He has plenty of power. He had plenty of money. He has lost money. No. He's actually
children took over his business. He has lost nothing.
no. He has lost money because he
has.
has not been running his businesses, and they
Okay.
have. Okay, but now his net worth has gone down. Now, when you're in the real estate business, what that means, right? So there's a lot of really complicated stuff going on behind the scenes because you have depreciation. Yeah, and we're almost out of time, but you have depreciation, which shows a loss, but it's not really a loss because
Right.
it's just
It's a
the
write-off.
asset
Okay.
being written off, part of the asset being written off every year, right?
that's what I have a small business, and I do the same thing.
So,
Right.
so he
But here's the
instead
thing.
of having
He went into politics
5 billion.
knowing that this would be the result, that he'd be hated and
oh,
derided.
and he's such a good
and
guy.
he did it because
He's the ultimate narcissist.
he believed.
Trump defines
He's
narcissism.
such a great guy.
Okay,
he loves
he has
us
a
all.
narcissistic streak.
He-
I'm not
100%.
saying he doesn't.
He-
I'm not
he-
saying he doesn't.
oh,
But
he loves us all.
He
No.
believed that the country was getting mismanaged, and so he wanted to
correct.
stop that, and that is why he ran for president. Now, he did a lot of stuff to fuel his narcissism. He was a reality TV star for a while. If it was just about his narcissism, he would have kept doing that because he was doing great.
David, you're fired. That's all I have to say. How has he lived?
You cannot fire
David, how
ahead.
has he lived? It's like a television show. He's been never mind. This is not our topic, but I would just simply say, look,
Well,
Biden.
I think it is the topic because you have this idea that our choice is always between two evils.
Badder or
It's
word.
the-
Bad,
it's the
badder,
lesser
which
of
is
two
not a real
evils.
word, but
Right. But
I
I'm
would
just
say
saying,
it's like
I
choosing
don't
between
think
two STDs.
that
it really,
there is-
it really is. It
I
really
would
is
choose
two
the curable
STDs.
one.
Correct. I
But here's
agree.
the thing: it's not a choice between two evils or the lesser of two evils.
it is.
No,
Come on.
that Trump has had historic peace deals. He has been nominated for 3 Nobel Prizes because of his peace deals in the Middle East.
Listen, I'm not saying he's
Peace
a rap.
deals that nobody
Listen,
thought could get
I'm not
done.
saying he's a rapscallion, but he doesn't care for me
Okay.
or my
maybe-
friends.
Okay,
Maybe he
let me
doesn't.
ask you a question though. What politician did or
I
has?
don't think maybe as I said pre-show maybe Carter.
Okay. No, and I respect that. you
Maybe
saying that because I think
maybe
that's,
Carter.
That's been
maybe.
my biggest problem because
They don't care about us.
I don't trust any politician, and I think that's been my biggest problem with the kind of hate thrown at this administration because it's almost like this. And trust me, I'm not necessarily waving Trump administration flags everywhere by any means at all. But my problem is that it seems very unfair because there's been a lot of like, oh, well, the last administration, they loved me. No, he didn't either. So I respect that position because unfortunately
Yes.
a lot of people won't say that.
Yeah, listen, Bulworth. When I was a kid, I saw the movie Bulworth, and I believe that there are a couple of movies that every American should see. One is Bulworth, and the other one is Wag the Dog. And I think that I think, and that has shaped my view on politics, and also having family members who were oh wow, the word escapes me. What you call the people who get things done, lobbyists, having family members who were lobbyists and involved in government on the lobby level. I now have an understanding that listen, that our world is people just aren't right, and really, so I don't expect much from the politicians except to try to maintain and try to listen, if you can keep a little money in my pocket, and let me ask you guys honestly. In the past, you guys have been alive have been adults for maybe 3 campaigns. Maybe you've been adults for 3 campaigns. Maybe
No,
4
4, yeah.
maybe 4 campaigns. Have your lives changed that much between whether a Republican was in, whether a Democrat was in?
I would say yes.
Okay. And
But
then
remember, I'm coming from a unique position of active duty military.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I will say yes.
yes, yeah. So
I was in the military as well, at least for part of my adult life, and I would say that as it turns out, it was during the Clinton administration, and I didn't appreciate it at the time, but he was very much for peace, and he actually maintained the peace, and I really. I do appreciate that now, although I was a little bored when I was in the Marine Corps. but all right, fine, but I'm still alive. So, on the one hand, yeah, but he actually did a pretty decent job on that front.
you know who I love, and we got to cut off. We're running we're out of time. But I would say that one of my favorite presidents, even though I didn't appreciate a lot of his policies, but I really liked him. I really liked George Bush. Senior. I also liked George Bush Jr. And I think that
I liked him better after his administration
yes,
than during.
someone said, and I'll tell you why I liked both of them. And I also like Clinton. To tell you the truth, I like Clinton, and I liked I like people who feel that they love America, who are doing what I think is the best they can
For
do
America.
for America.
100%.
I might disagree with their decisions,
Yes.
but I feel that they're doing what they think is best, and I can respect
For the
that.
better of the
Whether
country.
I disagree with you or agree with you.
Now-
I think you're dirty. I think you might have to do bad things to accomplish that, but I do like that. I think you care about America.
I agree with that.
I believe that Trump is actually doing what he thinks is best
I
for
agree.
the country. In other words, I don't think he is doing this to enrich himself. He's already rich. He doesn't need anything else.
Power, baby.
Well,
Power.
I mean,
I
he's
mean,
got
if,
it though.
if you want to say that
Power.
that would be the
You are the
maybe
most
the one
powerful
thing, I
man
wouldn't disagree with
in the world when you are the president of the United States.
And somehow he can't get Hillary Clinton indicted. I don't know.
You know why?
Because she's the most powerful woman in the free world.
You know what? I know we got to go, but I will just share. This is what a source that was corroborated, I can corroborate, told me. And it's for
Okay.
hearsay. He said that there was a security gentleman who was working for one of the richest men in the world, and he said that these guys meet consistently and discuss global finance. And
Sure.
discuss global and geopolitical and geopolitics, and I guarantee you that they are in control of of a lot of
Just
what
because
you
people
see.
meet and they're rich and they talk about something doesn't mean they control it. It means that they're
It means
trying
that they
to see.
influence it though.
Yeah,
They want
I'm not saying that
to
they
influence,
yeah,
but they also
they have-
want to make sure they know which way the wind is blowing because they want to stand downwind of
trying
the
to
war
direct
and
the wind.
with a bag and
Exactly.
catch all the
Listen,
money.
They are so powerful.
You
that-
can't direct the wind, but you can stand downwind with the bag and catch the money.
I-
as
they-
opposed-
I would disagree actually. You can direct it if you have enough people blowing in the sails.
Yeah, listen, they are so
can.
powerful that they will support both sides.
Correct.
To make sure that what they need gets done. I would.
That is actually the most evilly tactful way to up your power. is
Yes.
to play both sides.
Of course, power is everything. Once you get, because listen,
The most powerful will play both sides.
money can get you only so far, but if you have power and influence,
Yep.
which the president of the United States most definitely does, that is something. For 8 years, you are the most powerful man or person in the world. For 8 years, if you can get elected twice.
All right, so that's what Joe Biden was peddling. We know what he was getting money, and what was he selling? It was that power and influence, right?
Yep.
Yep.
There you go, baby.
All right.
I
So,
would say the power and influence was his leverage.
Yes.
hey, that's all for this segment. We're gonna go ahead and end it, but we will be back with another one here shortly.